Hello, it's Wednesday and we're back with another video. What are we doing today?
So the hottest topic right now that everybody's talking about, National Health Insurance.
Oh my goodness.
NHI, National Health Insurance.
Oh my goodness.
So supposedly Cyril's supposed to sign NHI into bill today, as of this recording, because we're recording on the Wednesday.
Yes.
So he's supposed to sign it today, and people have been talking about it. There's been a lot of viewpoints,
Yes.
very interesting viewpoints.
Yes.
But before we get into it, let's just check out this clip first,
Yeah.
and then you tell me what you think about it.
Okay, cool.
Focus areas, which is going to help poor people. And now the opposition on NHI is coming from well-to-do and rich people. It's coming from those who have the ability. And this is what often happens. The haves don't want the have-nots to benefit from what they have been having. And we are saying through NHI, all of our people must have equality. There must be equality of all people in our country. And I know it drives fear into the hearts of many. Just think for all our people getting a vote, throw the biggest fear in the hearts of white people in this country. They were terrified. They were so afraid because they thought when everybody gets a vote, it means that the privileges that we always had are now going to disappear. And let me tell you, my good friends, we are not a reckless government. We are a government that, yes, as some of you said on this platform, is focused on building a nation, on reconciliation, on making sure that there is equality fully in our country. We cannot and must not go on with New South Africa when we still have inequality in some areas of life. And healthcare, which is the most important area for the life of anyone, is the one area where we need equality. And believe you me, we are going to have equality. Whether people like it or not, that's what we are going to have.
Interesting. So what are your thoughts?
Well, you know what? That little address there was definitely the best way to spin it and to give it to the people. And it's now on your conscience, if you get what I mean, to fight this bill. So this was some of the things that I was thinking, like, at first I did, just like a lot of people have that, like, this is probably not going to be a great idea. Like, what we see in public hospitals is going to happen in private hospitals and whatever. But to be fair, why do you want a situation where you have better than the next person? And, like, what makes you think, put aside the taxes, because I know our excuse is going to be, oh, we have to pay for it because we have to pay the taxes and whatever. Just put that aside.
Why?
Why
must you put that aside? That's very important.
No, but think of the cause. Sometimes the cause is greater than, the sacrifice that you have to give, right? The cause is that all South Africans can have, access to similar healthcare. Just because you are in a privileged position to have a good job and things like that, and you don't know another person's background and where they come from and why they can't be in the same position as yourself, a lot of times you can't blame the people. But why? Because of that, why do you feel like I should, I deserve, inadequate healthcare? I need to be exposed to hospitals that are of a substandard. Like, yes, the big problem obviously lies with the government and why they are making their public hospitals substandard and now to the point where they have to rely on private, private hospitals to now step in and sort of, assist that. But it's like, why? My big question to us and many of us who felt like, oh, this is going to be such a bad thing is why? Why? And I don't think I can get any other answer but that answer proving that it's a privilege that people just don't want to get wanting to be better than the rest. Yes, it's wanting to be better than the rest, because why do you think you deserve better healthcare than the next person? Why?
So this is a very interesting conversation here because healthcare affects all of us.
Yes.
And it's going to determine how long you're able to live.
Yes.
So good healthcare can make you live up until you're 100.
Absolutely.
Bad healthcare, you can shorten your life expectancy to 50 or something like that. So it's very important. It's literally, for some people, a life or death system that they rely on to live on. So everybody's vocal about NHI. Just to give a brief little example of what it is, National Health Insurance is the government being able to, it's an insurance scheme where the government is able to provide or subsidize health services to every citizen in the country.
Yes.
So whether you're poor or rich or whatever, there are basic health services that the government will be able to pay for, regardless of any hospital that you're able to go to. So you can go to the nearest hospital at the time, whether it's a Mediclinic, a Netcare, or whatever if it's a private hospital or a public hospital, the government will facilitate those health services and pay for them. Now people are wondering how all of this is going to get paid for, and how the government is going to be able to afford this and all that stuff like that, and how this is going to affect the public healthcare workers, the private healthcare workers. There's a lot of change that's going to happen, but just to start this conversation off. Right. I was just looking at where this was implemented elsewhere in the world.
The UK.
Yes, where this was implemented elsewhere in the world, and just to see like how it works, and does it work there or it doesn't work. And from what I've been able to see, it doesn't work that well. From what I've been able
Because
to see.
the people having to stand in queue to be in queues now to get help and things, and there's basically a strain on healthcare services.
There's a huge strain on the healthcare system there. Let me finish. Okay, there's a huge strain on the healthcare system, and people having to wait some months, sometimes years, for procedures and to get operations and all that. People get put on huge waiting lists where they can wait years to get an operation. So the NHS system in the UK has put a huge strain on the healthcare system there. Now that is a system that actually works.
Yes.
So imagine a system where it wasn't
That's
working
already not working
to begin
But
with.
that's why they also are bringing in the private sector, because obviously, let's be honest, the private sector, it works. Like, you know.
Let's get to that part as well.
Yeah.
So the argument here is, why is Cyril doing this, outsourcing the healthcare system to the private sector instead of improving the public sector?
Also, I just want
when he had 30 years to do that.
So like sometimes, just so, like I've always been preaching, is that maybe sometimes it's okay to admit when you've been defeated, like when you can't do something. And I feel like this is an indirect, expression of that, or like confession of that, but there is an example within the country of it actually being done, and that's the private sector. The private sector are doing a really good job, but we also can't run away from the fact that the private sector is only doing a great job, I believe, because they're working within capacity, like working with a smaller group as compared to having to cater for so many people. We know that we will need more hospitals if we want a private sector standard in this kind of thing, in this kind of setup where it's open to all. I do feel like a lot of the reasons why, the public sector is not working is because there's just too much. There's too many people to help, and they can't, like, the facilities don't allow that to happen. But then also just a lack of accountability, because in private sector there's accountability that needs to be taken.
So what's likely going to happen is that a lot of these people are going to leave, especially once the system gets so strained that these people are not able to sleep or function or whatever. A lot of them are going to leave. And then so the next question is here. The next question is it better to have a somewhat working healthcare system, or that works for a few people, and then it barely works for most people, or is it
one that works for no one,
or one that just doesn't work at all for anybody?
Well, to be fair, now it puts the like, it makes it fair. I know one thing it's gonna bring is fairness, but I know what it's gonna bring though is worse problems. Like, let's not run away from the fact that there's still gonna have to be a hierarchy of who gets what when. You know what I'm saying? Like, people who are in line for a heart transplant, we know now who get prioritized first if a heart transplant must happen. Who gets priority first? Ones with money. You know, it's just how it is. Rich people are still gonna be at an all-time advantage. Not with middle class now, but purely just rich people who can pay their
the reason why it is not fair is because there's a middle class who's paying taxes. So the middle class and upper and rich people make up 10% of the population. That 10% of the population is paying most of the taxes.
Yeah.
And that 10% has been holding up the government.
The government, yes.
To take care of what
And all of
90%,
these ideas that they come with, and
which is close to like 50 million people or something like that. So 10 million people, right, has been paying the taxes to the government
yeah,
to make sure that the government is able to take care of 60 million people.
yeah,
Now, that group of people have made enough money for themselves to be like, okay, now we have to pay extra to get better healthcare,
yeah.
which is the medical aid.
Apart from the taxes, yeah.
Yes, which is the medical aid. So those people are going to be paying more
Yeah,
to receive the same healthcare as the people that are not paying anything at
Yes.
all. That by design is not fair onto the middle class
yeah.
and the rich people. By design, that's not fair. So this is why this whole system is broken. It's just broken. And Cyril's spinning this to say he wants equality for all, right? The best way to do that, to give equality for all, is to give economic equality.
Yeah.
You will never
So
have
that people can also afford,
you will never have true equality when most of the population
or somebody's carrying the weight of
yes,
it.
when most of the population is unemployed and poor.
Yes.
And a small subset of the
Yeah,
population
like
is
for you
paying
to
most
just
of the
jump
taxes.
to healthcare to try and prove this equality thing is crazy. Like, that's what showed me, for me, that this is just a campaigning stunt, because there's no way, and out of all the other ways you can try and prove this equality, you fought other things of like subsidizing education to the point where it's free for all, you know what I'm saying? Or like that things that can actually economically emancipate people. You're not focusing on those, and you just jump to healthcare, something you definitely know will put a strain on particular people. But now he knows he doesn't care about middle class anymore, because he knows middle class have already shown them that
Yeah.
you know, you're not getting their votes. So who has he got to impress? The
poor.
you know, the poor. And the poor, this is the great thing for them. All the poor people are talking about, oh, I'm gonna go to Mediclinic, oh, I'm gonna go to Netcare, like, and obviously you're giving them something that they have not experienced in their lives, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, for them, this is amazing. I feel like it should have come to a part where the majority of South Africa can contribute to the fund, where we don't really feel the strain. I don't feel like this is a genuine move, but now I was just trying to wrap my brain around thinking like, okay, am I wrong to feel a certain way about it? Because like, this is an opportunity to give somebody who hasn't had an opportunity to have, private health, not private healthcare, because it won't be necessarily that private anymore, but who hasn't had access to good healthcare.
Think of it like
So what does equality really mean to us?
equality of opportunity. You cannot have equality of outcome. Equality of
Yeah.
outcome means that somebody's gonna get fucked over to
Yes.
make sure that the people
That's true.
who are disadvantaged
Yeah,
have the same outcome as the people who are advantaged.
yeah, that's true.
It's like trying to run a race with somebody who's disabled.
Yeah,
They're gonna have to cut your legs too for you to have the same outcome.
yeah.
You know, it's
And
something
the
like
outcome
that.
to actually be fair,
Yes.
like,
But it needs to be the same opportunity. Like you get the same opportunity. You must race with the
Yes.
people. You must race with the people who are
Like, there are people
amputated as
who
well.
really, at
So-
this point, who don't need to work at all, to be honest, who
So-
are incentivized.
So look at it like this. The main reason why a lot of people are complaining about this, like this whole NHI system, would have been a good idea if we had a government that was able to implement it correctly. I don't think people would have complained about it the way they're complaining about it now.
Yes, if they
we have,
trusted the government.
if we have a government that was able to implement it correctly. This is the same government that is running the ESCOM that we know right now.
Yeah.
The same one. The same government that has been running this healthcare system for 30 years, and people don't want to use it.
Yeah.
That's the same government. That's why people are worried. It's like, okay, we are giving these people more money
Yeah.
to squander.
Yes.
That's the main issue here. Like if the government actually did their job and made public healthcare comparable to private healthcare,
Yeah.
like comparable,
We would know that they can do it. Like,
then this whole
Would be
NHI
good.
this whole NHI thing wouldn't be a problem
Mm.
because one, most people wouldn't mind using public healthcare because it's comparable to
yeah, it
private.
would just be another hospital.
Yeah, it's comparable.
Yeah.
So you're gonna get a similar experience.
Yes.
Now that the gap is so big that nobody wants to use public, like nobody. People are willing to pay more to use private. They're willing to pay more. These are the same people that want to implement the system. So that's where the crux of it is. If these people weren't stealing money like they do, and they were
People would
actually
have more
doing their
faith in
job,
them. Yes.
people actually would. I don't think people would cry
Would
about this
cry.
like this.
And you hear it in the cries of the people. It's like people are not genuinely crying because they really are against us and they, like, oh, no, we really don't want to share hospitals with them. But they're all crying because they know that this is just another channel for them to eat our money.
Yes.
Like, these people are crooks to the core. Like, so what's gonna change suddenly with this, where their conscience is gonna tell them, let's not misuse these funds. Let us genuinely
These are the
sure.
same people that during a national and international crisis,
Imagine
COVID,
they were still
they were stealing
Imagine.
PPE funds. They were stealing during COVID. These are the same people. So instead of bringing the healthcare system up to a level to match
yeah.
private, they want to bring everything
down to
so that-
their level.
yeah, so that
they think,
everybody
like,
experiences that same
It's not
thing.
just our fault. Look at them. Look at them. Look at them.
So, and the whole angle that he's spinning that he wants equality. If you really wanted equality, if you really wanted to do that, you would have been pushing for that since 1994. If
Yes.
you really wanted equality.
Not on 2024, the month of elections,
when you're about to lose.
when you're about to lose, and then you wanna come talk about equality. This is just disgusting. Honestly, this is a really
So
disgusting.
if the ANC and this government specifically really were pushing for equality, they were gonna make sure that schooling system, public schooling system matches private schooling
Yes.
system. Public hospital system matches private hospital system, and those people get the same opportunities
and then
as the people
maybe
who
they
went to
can start
private.
working hand in hand.
As those people who went to private, they
Yes.
get the same opportunities
Absolutely.
to go to the same universities, get the same degrees, and get the same job opportunities. That's it. That's all they had to do.
Yeah.
If they wanted
where
equality.
paying for private it would not have necessarily been paying for better.
Yes.
Now it's like, and you can't blame people for wanting to pay for better, because there's a certain, like, the standard of public institution is so terrible, and it's like, why do I have to subject myself to this? Like, why?
So-
if I need to pay a little bit extra to get better, then why not? But now you're taking away that option.
So this is the wrong way. This is the wrong way to equalize a society. Like, again, it's unfair to the middle class and the rich people.
It's not equal.
They have to pay a lot more
Yeah.
to give the
carry
the
people.
poor the same.
People you want to keep poor because you just
Services.
want them to vote for you, like to keep a voting majority. You don't care about them becoming better or meeting everyone at a level. You don't care about that. You keep them poor, and how are you going to do that? Not from your own pocket, from the pockets of other people
And you know what this
who
does?
work so hard every month.
This is gonna create even more inequality by shrinking the middle class.
Yeah.
So there's gonna be a smaller middle class
Yeah,
because
those
isn't you
people
have
who
to
are
tax.
entry level middle
Yes.
class now.
So
will fall
you have
into
to. So in order for this to work, you have to tax people a lot more. We already one of the most taxed. We're already one of the most taxed working forces
in the world.
In the world. We have one of the highest taxes in the world in this country. And nothing in public works. That's how bad this current system is right now. And now
How do
you're
you
asking
explain
and now
that?
you're asking the middle class to get taxed even more to support the poor when you couldn't do that on your own already. You couldn't do that on your own. So nothing's gonna change. All this is gonna do is it's gonna reduce the middle class, creating more inequality because there's gonna be more poor people
Yeah.
and rich people will stay rich and more rich people this side. So by reducing the middle class, creating more poor people and more rich people,
Yeah.
more inequality by doing this. And then secondly, it's like you bringing the whole healthcare system down.
And you mentioned
Down.
have the haves and the have-nots, but you actually contributing to making it worse.
And you know what makes this bad is that Cyril still has the privileges and the money
Exactly.
to get the best
To
healthcare.
get the best. That's what I'm saying.
Cyril-
it's not just gonna be him. There's
Him and
still
his
gonna
ministers.
be people who's gonna be
Cyril-
prioritized.
So the rich are able to go overseas. They're not gonna be like the rest of us where
Yep.
where we're gonna be waiting years to get an
Yes,
operation.
no, they'll fly him.
They'll fly overseas, get an operation quickly, and come back. Cyril's gonna be able to do that. So he's not gonna feel this equality that he's talking about. He's not. It's gonna be middle class and poor. It's the same. It's the same thing as what happened to the electrical system and the grid. The ANC expanded to everybody without expanding the capacity to provide for everybody.
Yeah.
So it's going to be the same thing. The healthcare system is now expanded to everybody, but they haven't created the facilities
Yes,
to
to
facilitate
cater for
everybody.
everybody.
So what's going to happen? It's going to collapse, like ESCOM has. It's the same thing. So people are like, let's prevent this catastrophe from happening, because if it does, we are gonna be in a bad space, because all the good doctors, all the good nurses, and all that stuff like that, healthcare providers are going to leave the country.
Yeah.
And then now we're going to be in a situation where we have to import labor and stuff like that, and we don't want that. That's going to be
And
more
we're
expensive
already having drama with
for the
that.
government. So this whole thing this whole thing is just not going to work in its current form, in this current system as it is. Like, yes, ultimately we want equality, but you must do it the right way. You must raise the standard for the poor, not bring down the standard for everybody. You don't want. Why would you want everybody to live in a shitty system when you can do the opposite, make everybody live in a good system? Why would you want that? Like, just think about it like that. So so your equality is like you prefer everybody to live in a shitty system. Then forcing the government to do their job to ensure that everybody lives in a good system. So it's just one of those things, but it is what it is. It's a very interesting conversation that we currently having now as a country.
Absolutely.
You guys let us know how you feel about this.
Yeah, let us know.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.
And keep watching. Goodbye.
We'll check you guys in the next one.